Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it again, and I'm in studio because I made it home. I was out of town for work, and I didn't think I'd make it back in time, but I am here, and I'm happy about that because I don't have to worry about possible internet issues and weird situations with background stuff. And my room was decent, but where I would have had to set up in order to do the podcast where I was would have been a little bit of a it would have been difficult to say the least. So I'm just happy I'm back. Yeah, the drive home was absolute garbage though, and I hated life, and I just couldn't wait to get the hell out of my vehicle. But that's just how things go. Every time I come home, there's got to be something that happens that makes it stupid. It's probably more just my anticipation wanting to get home, but man, today was bad. So yeah, traveling sucks sometimes. Most of the time I don't mind, but lately, like I said, every time I try to come home, something happens that makes it real dumb as far as traffic or detours or construction, all that bullshit. So, and over here where I live right now, feel like there's construction absolutely everywhere. So it's really annoying, but I'm glad to be home, and I'm glad to be here doing the show. We got three events happening this weekend that I wanted to talk about. Number one is actually happening right now. We have Dirty Boxing DBX4 that is live right now. And so if you see me looking up, it's because I do have it playing on my TV up there. I just wanted to have it kind of in the background so I can keep track of where we are. I am interested in a few of these fights. Brian Battle's fighting on here, former UFC fighter. And then Gable Steveson's making his DBX debut after winning his MMA debut by TKO. So I think that's the main event, if I remember correctly. But Brian Battle, I think, is somewhere up there too. And let me take a look real fast. Yeah, Gable's the main event. Brian Battle's the co-main. So those are interesting fights. And then there's a few other good fights in there. We'll touch on that, though, a little bit later. As for now, we also have Karate Combat 57. That's happening. There's a few former UFC fighters fighting in there. Luis Pena, who is Violent Bob Ross, is fighting there. Uriah Hall. And I think there's a couple others. So we'll touch on that here in a bit as well. Hey, Mom, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so then we also have UFC Vegas 110 happening on Saturday. Maybe not the best of cards. There's a few decent fights in there, but, not the best of cards all around. We have a couple fillers happening this week and next week, back to the UFC Apex. So they're kind of filler cards because we have UFC 322 coming up after that on November 15th. So everything's just leading up to that. And, they got to find a spot. Well, first of all, they got to fulfill their contract, so they have to have so many fights within the year. And they're trying to finish out that ESPN contract. So with that being said, there's going to be some filler cards in there. And they also have so many fighters on the roster that they have to fight them at some point in time, right? But yeah, I mean, with that being said, it is what it is. We got to deal with it. Oh, man, I thought I got rid of this. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. I just made some changes. I thought I got rid of the stupid Stream Elements thing that keeps popping up. But I'll get rid of that sooner or later, hopefully. I keep forgetting about it, and I thought of it right now. I made some changes. I think I actually found the whole reason for me putting that or enabling that is because I was trying to do it for the watch parties where I have issues with bots that try to, spam links because, we're watching the fights live and they're trying to send people to their links to watch it live, which are more than likely illegal links, and it's just bots spamming. So I think I found a way to get rid of that without me having to do it every 5 seconds because it gets annoying. And yeah, that was the whole reason for that. But for some reason, I have a bot that's in here telling me how to learn how to use the bot. And it's just like, come on, man. I'm trying to use this to get rid of shit, not to add more. It's an ongoing problem. I'll get it fixed though. So anyway, yeah, we have a couple filler cards, UFC Apex fight cards that are happening the next 2 weeks. This one I feel like it's tough. It's tough, but we'll get into it here in just a minute. I also, what else? There was something else I was going to talk. Oh, you know what? Let me hit the sponsor real quick, because I do need a little kick in the ass here because of my driving and everything else that I had going on. Yeah, I need to wake up a little bit here. So we got Noctane smelling salts, of course. If you're here, then you're usually here. You've heard about this over and over again, but I always got to shout out my sponsor, Noctane smelling salts. It's the most potent bottle here. It's wearing out for me though, so I'm gonna have to get a new one here pretty quickly, especially before that next pay-per-view for the watch party. Let me take a quick whiff of this. Oh, whoa! I swear, when I emphasize how weak it's getting, that's when it hits me the hardest. Oh my God. I could have used that earlier when I was driving and feeling very tired from driving slow when I should be going about 75 and I was doing probably 40, which was very annoying. Oh my God. But you know what? I needed that so I could be a little more awake here. But that's what I use it for, long driving, long trips driving, and just got a knockout on DBX4. Wow. But yeah, and then to wake myself up and be nice and awake and alert, little burst of adrenaline, all kinds of different uses for it, but that's what I use it for, and it's a good product. So Noctane smelling salts, hit that QR code, check out their website. There's a link in the description below always. So if you want to get yourself a bottle, they're pretty affordable, and it's a great product. It lasts a good long time. I use it a lot, and it lasts me a while. And on top of that, their website is nice, and it's informative. So go check it out. Thank you, Noctane. So I didn't prep anything for this as far as visuals go and whatnot, but I did want to talk real quick about Ronda Rousey went on Bert Kreischer's podcast. So I wanted to look into this a little bit more because I only got to hear some clips. And I'm going to see if I can find a clip real quick. So she went on the Bertcast. I haven't got to listen to it yet because I actually got rid of the old way that I used to listen to podcasts. I had an app that I would listen to podcasts on, and now I moved over to just straight up Spotify. I released my podcast on Spotify too. If you didn't know, you can listen to audio only there. I mean, you can watch the video there too, but I'd appreciate it if you'd watch it here if you're going to watch it. But if you need to listen to audio only, I wanted to give people the option of doing that because I do listen to audio only most of the time for podcasts. So I wanted it to be on Spotify, and the fact that I can get it on Spotify where there's all kinds of other podcasts is just pretty fucking cool. So I wanted to be able to do that. You can find it on other platform podcasts as well. I mean, podcast platforms as well. So anyway, I forgot to subscribe to the Bertcast on my Spotify. So I need to do that, and this reminded me. So anyway, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to listen to this full podcast so I can figure out what the hell is really going on with this entire thing. But the clips sound like your normal Ronda Rousey shit, and it sounds like she's back to, she wanted to be out of the forefront and the spotlight. She started her family. She got married. She has a farm, all this other shit, right? Sounds great. She retired, went, rode off into the sunset and got what she wanted. And that's awesome because, she made a lot of money. She was a great person for women's MMA. She got them into the UFC basically single-handedly, because she was the star, and she's the one that convinced Dana White to get women into the UFC. But that's all great and fine. But the thing is everyone got sick of her overconfident bullshit. And that's kind of where she's back to, because, we didn't hear from her. Maybe we didn't know it continued because we didn't hear from her for so long. But now she's back into the public eye Everyone's speculating if she's trying to come back to MMA and the UFC because of the fact that she was training and she was showing her progression from 8 months after having a baby, or an 8-month progression starting from right after when she had her kid to 8 months later. And you could see, obviously, she progressed quite a bit because she didn't do a whole lot before she started training again. Well, with that being said, of course, rumors are running wild about how she's coming back and we're going to see her in the octagon again soon and all this. And she hasn't really said that, but she's been out there in the public eye, like I said, and we hadn't seen that for a long time. So she was on the Birdcast, and I saw a couple clips. And just to show you, I mean, just to give you an idea, okay, we have, I mean, here, you know what? Do I have this? Let me see if I have this real quick set up correctly. There we go. Okay, I can actually pop this up. And of course, it's, there we go. So you can see here, we have Ronda Rousey to Joe Rogan. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience, is what she said. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience. He's never fought. Taekwondo is not fighting. I understand what she's saying when it comes to, but Taekwondo was fighting because Rogan showed that, you know, he knocked people out. He has, there's video. So it's like, come on, man. If you're spinning wheel kicking people in the head and knocking them out, I'm messing with this window, but I'll just pop it out here in just a minute. But the other one says, problem with MMA fans, the second that you're not on top, you're not shit, and you never were shit. So those are a couple things that she said, and I think it's funny. So with the Rogan thing, she had an issue with the fact that, you know, he spoke the truth like he always does. And sometimes he's wrong, but he spoke the truth about the fact that she, you know, the way that she handled her exit from MMA was not the best. And I think we can all agree that she basically shit on everyone by just ducking out and acting like nothing mattered. Even in that last fight, she didn't want to do any media. After she got head kick knocked out, you know, I get it. You're a little bit embarrassed. You know, you were basically undefeated. You were the champ, and you got head kick knocked out after being so dominant and all this other shit. But, you know, she's a sore loser is what it is. She's a sore loser, and I just don't like her attitude. So because Rogan said some things that she didn't like, which is fine, you can express that you didn't like what she said, but you don't have to go as far as, what up, Tyler? How you doing? Welcome back. Appreciate you for coming back. Yeah, so she expressed that she doesn't think Joe Rogan is an expert at anything, that he's just a fan with an audience. And it's like, well, he has a gigantic fucking audience. Ronda Rousey is who I'm talking about, Tyler. She's back at it with her big mouth, talking shit, acting stupid. She gets back into, you know, the public eye and starts talking shit, automatically. So she thinks that Joe Rogan isn't an expert when he has millions and millions of people for an audience, for one. And for two, he's shown and proved that he's a fighter with some of the videos that have come out. And I can understand people saying, hey, listen, he's never fought the way that we fight. That's fine. But don't say that Taekwondo is not fighting when he's did a spinning wheel kick and knocked somebody out. And fucking, there's video proof of it. That I'm pretty sure that's fighting. She got head kick KO'd. Was that not fighting just because she lost? So she's just stupid when it comes to this shit. I understand the backlash on the fans. Wasn't Ronda the one that got tricked into training with a fake trainer? If anyone is dumb, it's Ronda. Exactly. See, Tyler's always on the same level. I love that shit. And even when he's not, he still makes it funny. So that's awesome. But yes, her fucking trainer, Edmund, who was like, she's the greatest striker and the greatest boxer in the world. And it's like, no, you got pieced the fuck up as soon as you landed an opponent that could actually fucking strike. So yeah, of course we can all put into question her career in the aftermath, but in the mix of it all, of course, we were all high on how dominant she was. Her level of opponents maybe not have been the best, but you know, that's just, she came in when the women were just starting in the UFC. So I'll excuse that a little bit. And she did a lot for the sport, for women in the sport, and I'll give her that as well. But that doesn't excuse her from being a complete fucking idiot. Her trainer and her hanging upside down from a pull-up bar, taking peppermint punches to the chin. Did she do that? I don't remember her doing that. That feels more like Diego Sanchez with the touch button the park guy. But maybe maybe because her trainer definitely did some stupid shit. I might just be not remembering that part. But yeah, her trainer Edmund was an idiot, which is why he's not around anymore. You know, she was his cash cow. Oh, maybe, I don't know. It's one of them. No, that's the thing, is when you hear about one, you're kind of hearing about all of them, because when they're starting to do stupid shit like that, those are the types of things that let you know that maybe that trainer isn't really who you think he is. So the thing is Ronda had a great career. If she would have gone out with grace and not just shit all over the public, the fans, and everyone else, maybe the fans wouldn't think that because she's not on top, she's not shit and never was shit. Now we can come back. Holy fuck, that was a quick knockout in DBX. Oh no, not a knockout yet. Okay, it was just letting him stand. These boys are throwing though in DBX4 right now. Every fight I've seen has been all action, which is why I like DBX. Dirty boxing, if you're not sure. Ronda's salty like Jamal Hill. Yeah. So she sat down with Bert Kreischer, and you know, Bert Kreischer's friends, really good friends with Rogan, and he looked uncomfortable as she's talking shit about Rogan. And he was like, you know what, maybe we should end this conversation now. And she goes, why? Are you worried about some mean DMs or something coming at you? And he's like, we'll just move on. So again, I didn't watch the whole thing. Maybe I'm taking some of this out of context, but it sounds like a typical Ronda thing to say. So I just wanted to talk about that for a quick second, because Ronda is not doing herself any favors. Sure, people were showing some interest in her possibly coming back. And if she's going to just do this right off the bat, how do you think she's going to be when she's actually going to compete again? It's going to be a shit show. She's going to talk a lot of shit. She's probably not going to be able to back it up, because the level of competition may not be miles and miles away from where it was when she was still fighting. And maybe the divisions aren't that deep, but I don't know that she can just jump right in and become as dominant and as successful as she was before. I thought she was too busy for the UFC. That's exactly my point. Those are the types of things she was saying. That's what she said about the fighting at the White House. She said, I'm too busy for that. Or she said some shit like, what was the other thing she said? Fuck, it just escaped me. That's okay. Ronda says dumb shit. So what does she expect from the fans, right? She thinks she's getting her get back on the fans that abandoned her after she lost. But it's because of the way that she handled that loss that everybody thinks she's full of shit now. Because she covered her face in a pillow with a hoodie on, wouldn't talk to anybody, wouldn't look at any cameras, wouldn't sign any autographs, take any pictures, wouldn't go to media day. She got the shit beat out of her by Amanda Nunes after she came back from the head kick KO. She's just a sore loser. She's a sore loser and she can't accept it. And so she's going to sit there and try to make excuses no matter how ridiculous and outlandish they sound. And her husband's not any better. Travis Brown's kind of a douche like that too. So they're kind of perfect for each other. And listen, Ronda, I was high on Ronda for the fact of getting women into the UFC. Some of her accomplishments were great. And yeah, she was a dominant champ for a while. But she definitely got handed the belt. I wouldn't have given her the belt right off the bat like that. I would have said, hey, fight your first fight. We present you with the belt when you win it. That's what they should have done, and they didn't. That's one of the things I didn't like from the get-go. And then she comes in, and she's super dominant, and that's fine. You know, she had a couple of times where she stumbled a bit, but she still came out the winner. And then she meets Holly Holm, and she gets head kicked, and she's out. and that's it. And you know, she tries to fight Nunes. Nunes fucking dog walks her, and then her career's over because she chose for it to be over. She doesn't know how to handle a loss, and I don't think anything has changed considering the way she's talking now. So I just wanted to talk about that for a minute because it kind of pissed me off. Even just watching the couple clips, it sounds like typical Ronda Rousey bullshit. So even if it is taken out of context, which I doubt it's far from the exact way that she meant it to be, fuck her is what I'm saying. I don't respect her for the way that she's handling things, and she can just go back to her farm and go milk some more cows and play with some pigs or some shit. Have a happy life with your family. That's what you wanted. You said you didn't have time for the UFC. So, you know, move the fuck, kick rocks. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need you. The UFC might be starving for stars, but I don't think you're going to make a difference. I don't think she can come in and you know what? If I eat my words, I'm okay with that. I don't know that she's going to come back. And even if she does, I don't think she's going to do that well. She's older now. She's a different person. When it comes physically, it seems like she's getting in shape or whatever, and that's great. All good for her, but I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to fucking hear her shit. I don't want to see her crybaby shit, and I don't want to deal with it. And because already the little bit of time I've seen her in back in the public eye, the way that she was with anything other than Instagram, I'm not about it. Why is Tucker Carlson selling me a tobacco product? What the fuck? Oh, are you watching DBX? I'm not listening to it, so I didn't even know. But I look straight up and see Tucker Carlson. It's like, what the fuck? What is he selling? Hey, listen. Oh, is it Elp? Okay, fuck that. I like Rogues. Oh shit, there it is. I don't know. I've never tried Elps though, so who knows? But DBX, you know, I like DBX, so I won't down on their sponsors. I wouldn't want anybody to down on mine, but Tucker Carlson, what the fuck? Anyway, moving on from that, let's get into. Oh, I did want to say, you know, thank you to everybody for the support. I always like to throw that in there. I know I always say it at the end too, but I've really been grinding, trying to put out more content. I put out a clip from the podcast last week. I've been putting out some shorts. I'm also on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you want, follow me there. I put out a bunch of edits, MMA edits, you know, of fighters and stuff. I try to keep it constant with the events that are happening this weekend or the ones that just happened, you know, stuff like that. So for now, that's what I'm doing is edits. I'm just trying to find my lane and grow my social media a little more. So next thing I know, Nick Fuentes is going to be selling me a Jewish themed calendar. Oh shit. Fucking A, Tyler. Man, you cracked me up. That shit is hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Oh shit. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for the support. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, you know what I just realized? I didn't fucking release my other interviews yet. That's my bad. This month has been fucking busy. Out of town. It's either my wife's been gone, my kids have been in and out of town, I've been in and out of town. It's been a busy month. So you know what though? What do you say? I hope Brian Battle made weight. I think he did. I didn't hear anything about him not making weight. So my wife was laughing at something. I wonder if she was laughing at Tyler or laughing at something I said. I don't know. Probably what Tyler said. Yeah, so it's been a busy month, and with Brave 100 it's happening next month. Yeah, she was laughing at you, Tyler, which is good because I'm not the only one laughing my ass off at you. with you at what she said, you know what I mean. But yeah, Brave 100's coming up, so maybe I'll just wait until that event's about to hit. I think that's coming up in a couple of weeks or so. So then I'll release those two interviews because I interviewed two fighters that are fighting each other in Brave 100, who was it? Alex Lahore and man, I'm spacing names. Mohammed, damn it. It's been a rough day. Sorry. Anyway, just look out for those interviews. You can always watch any of my other interviews here or on Combat Sports Today. Who gets me my interviews? That's who I collab with and do the interviews for. And then I post them on my channel here as well. So anyway, I've spent enough time on this. So let's get into UFC Vegas 110. We'll start off with that. And we got Steve Garcia versus David Onama as your main event. Again, like I said, not the best of cards, but sometimes we get lucky with these cards that no one is really looking forward to and thinking it's going to be great. We get some really great shit out of it. So I never count it out, but I can't really say that I'm overly excited, but it is what it is. We have a fight night, and that's what's good, and that's what's fun, is we get fights almost every damn weekend. And with this weekend, we actually have 3 big events that I'm interested in, which DBX4 is on right now. And we got Karate Combat 57 happening tomorrow, and then Garcia versus Onama happening on Saturday. So we're back to the Apex for 2 weeks straight, which is this Saturday and next Saturday, with 2 fight night cards. And this one is lacking a bit, but you know, once again, it's fights, and there is some decent fights in there that we could get some good fights out of, so some good action from. So we can't count it out completely. Next week's card, I think, looks like it's a little better, not by much though. It's okay. We'll take the filler cards to get us to the UFC 322, the next pay-per-view happening on November 15th. I'll be doing a watch party for sure on that one, so be on the lookout for that. As far as this fight goes, let's take a look at the prelims. The main event is interesting. Steve Garcia is fun to watch. He's on a pretty big win streak. I think like 6 or 7 fights in a row. Yeah, exactly, Tyler. The main event could definitely be a good scrap for sure. And Steve Garcia is on a good win streak. I believe David Onama is on like a 4-fight win streak as well. Garcia is one of those guys that's fun to watch too. He just comes out ready to go. He's all about the fight. He hardly ever gets to decision, so that's fun. So we'll touch on that once we get there, but let's start off with the prelims. In that visual on the far right, we got the beginning 6-7 fights in a row for his win streak. Yes, I believe so. I'll tell you real quick how many it is. He is on a 6-fight win streak. So yep, Steve Garcia on a 6-fight win streak. That's pretty damn good. But we'll get started with the first prelim card. We got Talita Alencar versus Ariane Carnelosi. Again, starting off with the women. That seems to be the trend now, is to start the prelims off with a women's fight. But we have 3 women's fights happening on this card. Yeah, because there's none in the main card. They're all in the prelims. So we got Alencar versus Carnelosi in the women's strawweight division. Alencar's 6-1, 2-1 in the UFC. She is coming off of a loss. Oh, I'm sorry. She's coming off a win over Vanessa Demopoulos back in April. Unanimous decision there. And then Carnelosi is 3-2 in the UFC, coming off a win as well. Or a DQ win by intentional headbutts. That's strange. I don't remember that one. That was May of last year, so it's been over a year since she's fought. But she's coming off that DQ win over Piera Rodriguez. So that's your first fight of the night there. Next up is a pretty good fight, I think. Phil Rowe versus Seok Hyun Ko. Just judging by what I've seen from these guys before, this one could be one of those sneaky good fights. Rowe is 4-3 in the UFC, 11-5 overall. He's coming off of a win over Angelosa back in June of this year. What up, Infinity? Just got home from DJing a party for the city of Phoenix. Oh, damn. And yes, Rousey's a bum. I assume that's what you meant, Ra. Damn, DJing for the city of Phoenix, huh? That's awesome. Congrats on that. That's dope. But yeah, we got Rowe coming off of a win over Angelosa by TKO in the 3rd round back in June of 2025. Before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak of decisions. So we'll see if he can make it a 2-fight winning streak with this one. He's fighting Seok Hyun Ko, who is 1-0 in the UFC, 12-2 overall. He's coming off a win, obviously, because he's 1-0. He's a Contender Series guy. He beat Oban Elliott in his last fight, June of this year. So that's a big win for him. And that means, Phil Rose got a good opponent there. Damn, autocorrect. Yeah. When your name is Ko, you better get a KO. Oh, yeah, no shit. That's actually a good call. But he did beat Oban Elliott by unanimous decision in his last fight. You know what? Let's take a look real quick and see. He has 6 wins by KO, TKO, 2 losses. We got zeros in the submission column, 6-0 by decisions. So his last TKO win, he had 3 in a row in 2023 and fighting for AFC. So yeah, he can definitely get those KOs. We'll see if he does that here against Phil Rowe, or if Phil Rowe can get a 2nd win in a row. No pun intended. What the fuck am I saying here? Next up, we got another women's fight. Montserrat Ruiz versus Ellis. Apparently it's Elise Ardeline. That's the way she pronounces it. I thought it was Alice, but apparently it's Elise Ardeline. Thanks to the Anik and Florian podcast, because Anik always does the pronunciation of the week, and he always puts in the hardest names. And I guess he was talking about the fact that it's not Ellis Ardeline, it's Elise. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. It's spelled like Ellis. But she is not only on OnlyFans and isn't shy at all there, but she's 1-2 in the UFC, and not a great record there, but she's coming off a win over Rayan Dos Santos by unanimous decision, where she got a fight of the night bonus on that one back in May of this year. So she'll be looking to make it 2 in a row. Montserrat Ruiz is, man, she is fucking tatted up, as you can see in that picture there, if you can see it, but in her other pictures you can see a lot of those tattoos. She is tatted up like crazy. She's on a 3-fight losing streak, but she lost to Amanda Lemos, Jacqueline Amorim, and then Eduardo Mora. So some decent opponents there. She lost by TKO in all 3 of those fights, which is crazy. So she's may look the part, but she's not doing well in the UFC. She's looking to try to turn it around and get a win. Ruiz is an acquired taste. Yeah. Ardeline is yeah, she does a little better in OF than she does in the UFC. Oh man. Anyway, that's a decent fight there in the women's in the women's strawweight division. Next up, another women's fight, and this one I can't believe this one. I can't believe this one is in the prelims. Honestly, I would have thought on a card like this that this fight would have been up in the main card. Infinity. Oh man. I felt like this one should have probably been in the main card, but we got Ketlin Vieira versus Norma Dumont, and this one's happening in the women's bantamweight division. Ketlin Vieira is 15-4 overall, 9-4 in the UFC. She's just one of those girls that I feel like usually would be further up in the card. I'm not sure why she's down there so low, but she has a win over Macy Chazon in her last fight by unanimous decision back in May. Before that, she lost to Kayla Harrison. So she's looking to get a couple wins in a row here. Norma Dumont, 8-2 in the UFC, 12-2 overall. I didn't realize Norma Dumont is kind of a looker. She is on a 5-fight win streak. Holy shit. Irene Aldana. Oh, she beat the shit out of Aldana in her last fight. I just remembered that one. So she hasn't fought since September of last year. But man, that was a crazy fight. She beat Jermaine Durandamy, Chelsea Chandler, Carol Hosa, and Danielle Wolf for those 5 wins in a row. So she's looking to make it 6 against Ketlen Vieira, but Ketlen Vieira is a tough opponent. She hits hard. She's bigger in stature, at least. So we'll see what Norma Dumont can do against her. The last few events and the next few events, they haven't been putting women's MMA on the main cards, ranked or not. Yeah, I noticed that. That's what I was saying earlier. Seems like they start every prelim card with the women. And then, you know, all the women's fights seem to continue to be in the prelims. But I think on the next card for 322, don't we have, it's Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang for the co-main event. So at least we got some women up there. I don't know that anyone's clamoring for the women to be up there, but I just feel like, you know, if they're ranked, they should at least, if they're ranked high, at least they should be, at least one of those fights should be on the main card. But I mean, it hasn't really been happening like that. Erin Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez is fighting on 322 as well. That's awesome, but it's in the prelims. And then we got Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein in the early prelims. So we got a few women's fights happening at 322, including one title fight, which should be an exciting one between Shevchenko and Zhang. I mean, you know, as exciting as it might be, it's got potential, I should say, because we know what they can both do, but the women's fights are always up in the air as to what might happen with them. But I feel like Ketlen Vieira versus Norma Dumont should be a good one in the prelims here. Moving on to Dante Johnson, who is 6-0, making his debut in the UFC, coming over from he got a win on the Contender Series by TKO in the first round back in August of this year, and then he was fighting on Fury Challenger Series before that, and a bunch of other random shit too. He was on the APFC, Anthony Pettis' organization, so he's coming in 6-0. Other than the title fight, they aren't on the main card, but on a card like 322, it's stacked enough that the high-ranked women aren't in the top 5 fights on the card. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the title fight's the co-main, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they're just recognizing that the women's divisions aren't doing the best right now. They're not very deep. But I mean, how else are they supposed to grow them? That's how I feel. Is maybe they should start, you know, highlighting them a little more. Maybe starting off the main card or something like that. They're not even putting them in the featured prelims, like the last prelim of the night. It's kind of weird. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But we got Dante Johnson coming in from the Contender Series, fighting this fucking idiot Cedric Dumas, who, you know, missed a fight, had to cancel a fight because he had an ankle monitor on and couldn't make it. Because after his fight that he lost, he decided to do some kind of fucking armed robbery or some shit. But he is Cedric Dumbass is exactly right, Tyler. He's 3-3 in the UFC, coming off a loss. Oh no, his last fight was a no contest to Zach Reese. I don't remember what happened in that one. I think he got kneed in the nuts and just couldn't finish. He was rolling around like a jackass. I just don't like the dude. He's kind of annoying. Before that, he lost to Mikhail Zaitchuk, which, I mean, that makes sense. Oleg Zaitchuk is a badass, and Dumas is nothing but a dumbass. So, yeah, we'll see. It was a groin strike and he couldn't walk after. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. It was a no contest. So we'll see what this guy does. Just after watching the social media videos that he's put out there about being broke, but you know, he's broke because he has to pay all kinds of lawyers fees and fucking other fees for being a fucking criminal because he's an idiot. So I don't feel bad for the dude. He needs to get his fucking shit together. Here, let's do this.
Get your fucking shit together, my God.
That's what he needs to do. So we'll give him a chance to see if he can do that. I'm just surprised that the UFC keeps him around, honestly. I don't see anything special about him. They should send him over to a different organization and let him fucking get some shit together, get some wins, and then maybe come back. I'm not sure why they keep him around. It's weird. They've cut people for less. I think this Johnson guy fought a heavyweight on the Contender Series and knocked the heavyweight out. Yeah, they're fighting at 185. I didn't remember him fighting a heavyweight, but I do remember him fighting on the Contender Series. Let me take a look real quick. Darian Abbey. Oh yeah, he was a heavyweight. Holy shit, that's crazy. I don't know that I fucking paid attention to that. But now he's fighting in the middleweight division. So it's a hell of a weight cut, but maybe he just did that in the Contender Series to get in. So that's impressive. I'll give him a lot of credit for that. And he's undefeated 6-0 too. So, you know, let's get out there and show Dumas why he's such a dumbass. Maybe don't kick him in the nuts so he doesn't find a way out, and just beat the shit out of him a little bit. Next up, though, we got Timmy Kuumba versus Chang Ho Lee. I feel like this is another one of those fights that could be really good on this card. Kuumba's 9-3 overall, 1-2 in the UFC. He is coming off of a win over Roberto Romero. Flying knee to ground strikes. Oh, I do remember that one in April of 2025 of this year. Before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak, but he got that TKO win in the second round. So he's coming off that big win, looking to make it 2 in a row. Chang Ho Lee is 2-0 in the UFC. Obviously on a 2-fight win streak. Cortavius Ramius is his last fight that he got a win in the second round by TKO with a performance of the night bonus. Long Zhao was his other win that he got a win by split decision. Chang Ho Lee's really good grappler, absolutely destroyed Cortavius. Yeah, I remember that fight. And he got the performance of the night bonus on that one too. So he got the punches from the mount, and that's how he won by TKO there. You know, fueled by that good grappling that Tyler's talking about. So I feel like that could be a really good fight. Kuumba versus Lee on that one. They're fighting in the bantamweight division. And then the featured prelim, we got Billy Elikana versus Kevin Christian. Elikana, if I remember right, his last fight was kind of dog shit. 8-2. He's 1-1 in the UFC. Let me see what his last fight was. Ibo Aslan. Yeah, I feel like it was kind of a snooze fest. He won by unanimous decision back in July. Before that, he lost to Bogdan Guskov by sub back in January. So this is his third fight of 2025. Looking to make it 2 in a row against Kevin Christian. I remember his name. I'm trying to remember who he fought last. Oh, it was Contender Series. He was in the Contender Series. He fought Francesco Mazio. He won by armbar in the second round. He fought Ibo Aslan, and it was one of the worst fights of the year. Literally, I remember it just being so fucking boring. It was so boring. That's because, like you said, they were not throwing anything. It's definitely, you only remember it because it was so bad. But yeah, this is happening in the light heavyweight division, and that brings us over to the main event. I always do that shit. The main card, starting off with Alan Nascimento versus Cody Durden, happening in the men's flyweight division. Nascimento 21-6 overall, 3-1 in the UFC. Hasn't been stopped at all. Only lost by decision. He's got a losing record by decision though. That's kind of crazy. He is on a 3-fight win streak. Ever since Ibo Aslan got KO'd, he hasn't thrown more than 2 strikes in a minute. Yeah, a little bit gun shy there, huh? He's trying to get that grappling going and making sure he doesn't get hit, but he's gonna bump into somebody who's not Elikana and it's gonna beat the shit out of him if he keeps that up. We got Cody Durden, 17-8 overall, 6-6 in the UFC, 6-2 KO TKO, 6-4 by sub, and 5-2 by decision. There's a lot of weird matchups with this. Nascimento's on a 3-fight win streak, but Durden's on a 2-fight losing streak. But I think Durden is a replacement. Yeah, Nascimento was supposed to fight Rafael Estevam, and Estevam withdrew. Doesn't say why. So Durden is stepping in on short notice. So yeah, maybe that's why this one is such a weird matchup. But Nascimento is on a 3-fight win streak. He's 3-1 in the UFC, so he's coming off of wins over Rafael Filho by unanimous decision back in May, and then he had a win over Carlos Hernandez and Jake Hadley for those 3 wins in a row. had a performance of the night bonus against Carlos Hernandez in a submission win in the first round. But that was back in 2023. So he didn't fight at all in 2024. He had one canceled bout and then another canceled bout earlier this year in March. And then he fought in May. He's got a lot of canceled bouts on his record, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, we'll see what he can do against Cody Durden, who again's coming in late replacement, and he is coming off of two losses in a row, one to Joshua Van. So damn, I mean, that's tough because we know how good Joshua Van is. He's looking at a possible title fight, or maybe that's booked already, right? And then he also lost in his last fight to Jose Ochoa by TKO. He lost to Joshua Van by decision, so at least he made it. Rafael Filio's really good win. He just destroyed Clayton Carpenter, who was really competitive with Ulanbekov, who was ranked. All right. Fucking Tyler spouting out the facts. Van versus Pantoja. Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember they announced it. I thought I remembered they announced it. But sometimes, you know, you hear all the rumors and it hasn't been official yet. They did kind of. I'm watching what's happening in this DBX. You know, you always see those rumor things and people make the posters like if it's already there. So sometimes I'm like, oh shit, was that actually official yet? But yeah, that should be an interesting one between Pantoja and Van. I think Van can hang. I'm not sure if he can win though, but it would be great to see him win. That'd be one of those guys. Pantoja's an exciting fighter because it's always a war, but there's something about Pantoja I just don't like that much. And I like Joshua Van a lot, so I would love to see him. He just seems like a good dude. He's a great fighter, so I would love to see him become a champ. That would be awesome. But either way, Durden's last win was against Matt Schnell with that ninja choke in the second round, which is what you see here in this picture on the right. And he got a performance of the night bonus on that one. That was back in September of last year. So Alan Nascimento versus Cody Durden for the first fight of the night on the main card. Next up, we got Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke versus Daniel Frunza. Radke's 10-5 overall, 3-2 in the UFC. Hasn't been stopped on the ground. He's 5-3 by KO, TKO, 3-2 by decision. He is coming off a loss, as well as Frunza, who is 0-1 in the UFC, 9-3 overall, 8-1 by KO, TKO, 0-2 by sub, and 1-0 by decision. So that's a category to look at there with the submissions. We got Charles Radke 2-0 and Daniel Frunza at 0-2. So maybe Radke gets it to the ground and can submit Frunza here. We'll see what happens in the welterweight fight. Let's take a look at Radke and who he's coming off a loss to Mike Malott back in May of this year. TKO in the second round. Before that, he had a win over Semmelsberger, where he got a performance of the night bonus, and then he was on a 2-fight losing, he lost before that one time to Carlos Prates. So he's had some big opponents in there, and those were his only losses in the recent past. Before that, he was on a pretty big win streak before he got into the UFC. It's a super stacked card too. Marab versus Yan 2, then Penta. Oh, you're talking about 323. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Is Radke gonna say it again? Oh shit, what did he say? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what the fuck he said. But yeah, anyway, we got, let's see what Frunza's coming off a loss to Rise McKee. That was a doctor stoppage after the first round back in 20. Oh, that's right. And then before that though, he was on he got a win in the Contender Series. Sorry, I'm getting some text messages here I'm laughing at. He got the win in the Contender Series by TKO, but he lost to Rise McKee in that doctor stoppage back in April. So that's your second fight of the night on the main card. That could be a good one. I mean, again, we're kind of grasping here because it's not the best card overall, but you know, we gotta deal with these filler cards here sometimes, and this is definitely one of them. What are we? Oh, anyway, I'm getting so distracted between these fights that are on up here and my text messages. I gotta focus. Next up we have Isaac Delgarian versus Yadier Delville, who is undefeated, 9-0, 1-0 in the UFC. 2 wins by KO, TKO, 3 wins by sub, 4 wins by decision. He's coming off a win, obviously. And then we got Delgarian. I think Radke's gonna get the KO because Rise McKee has less power than Charles, but he was dropping his opponent all over the place in the first round. Oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, I'm not following. I got you. Oh man. All right. This is just my text messages are going insane. We have golf coming up on Saturday, so they're discussing what's happening for golf. So I'm like, I'll answer after. But yeah, we got Isaac Delgarian versus Yadier Delville. Next up in the featherweight division, Delgarian is coming off a win. I mean, he hasn't been stopped. He's only got 1 loss, and it's by decision. So neither one of these guys has ever been stopped in the fight. They've with Delville being undefeated, Delgarian only losing by decision. That could mean we could get a pretty decent fight out of this one. Delgarian is coming off a win over Brandon Marotte. That was a submission in the second round back in September of last year. His only loss is to Christian Rodriguez, so you can't really blame him there. C-Rod is a tough guy to fight, and it was a split decision loss too, so he made it a fight. This could definitely be a good one. And then we got Delville. His 1 win in the UFC is over Connor Matthews by rear naked choke in the first round. I mean, both these guys got 3 wins by submission, and Delgarian's got a couple more wins by KO, TKO. So I mean, we kind of, it's a one of those fights where it could just be good all the way around, considering their past and what they got going on. I feel like this could definitely be a good fight. One of those ones that I've heard a couple people talking about, so I'm feeling like this might be one of those sneaker really good fights happening on this card in the featherweight division. So next up we got Jeremiah Wells versus Themba Garimbo. Garimbo was one of those guys that everybody was high on for a minute, and then it seemed like he lost, and lost all the kind of hype around him or whatever. But I still feel like I think he's the one that The Rock gave like a truck to or a house or some shit like that, if I remember right. I'm trying to remember. My brain isn't working today because I think all the driving just fried me. But it is what it is. Wells has steroid gut. Oh shit. I guess I can see what you mean by that. Goddamn, Jeremiah Wells is old as hell. Damn, man, I'm old as hell compared to him. But he doesn't look that old. What's weird is Garimbo actually looks older than him, which is strange, but steroid gut is funny. Anyway, Wells has never been stopped on his feet. Yeah, I know, Infinity. You act like you're not too. Jeremiah Wells never been stopped on his feet. Only has 1 loss by submission. They're both 4-2 in the UFC. Oh shit, was it? Well, happy birthday, Infinity. I did not know that. How old are you now? Because I bet you're older than me. So yeah, Wells is on a 2-fight losing streak, and Greenbow's coming off of one loss. Greenbow has a loss in every category there. He's 14-5 overall, a few years younger, still older. Oh, all right, only by a couple years, man. I'm not that much younger. So this is happening in the welterweight division. Let's take a look at Jeremiah Wells. He's coming off, he's on a two-fight losing streak. Oh, that's right. Against Carlston Harris by Anaconda choke in the 3rd round, and Max Griffin by split decision. He hasn't won since 2023, where he was on a pretty good win streak there. He coming into the UFC, he was on a 4-fight win streak. He beat Worley Alves, Court McGee, Matthew Semmelsberger, and Mike Mathia. Jesus, my text messages will not stop. Clark should be watching and not texting. Anyway, yeah, he's coming off 2-fight losing streak to Carlston Harris and Max Griffin. So he's looking to turn that around and get back in the win column and not make it 3 in a row, because you know what that means usually. Themba Gorimbo coming off a loss as well. Don't crack, but my knees too. Themba Gorimbo coming off a loss to Vicente Luque, where he lost 52 seconds into the 1st round by Anaconda choke. But that is Vicente Luque. That's the kind of shit that he does when he's on. And he was definitely on against Gorimbo. Before that, though, Gorimbo was on a 4-fight win streak with wins over Nico Price, Ramiz Brahimaj, Pete Rodriguez, and Takashi Sato. He had 1 TKO win there and 3 decisions. So he's a lot of decisions in the UFC so far. We'll see what he comes out and does, and if he can get back in the win column and send Jeremiah Wells into that, into the darkness with the 3 losses in a row, because that's always trouble when it comes to the UFC. I don't know. This fight has some potential. I don't remember Wells as much as I remember Gorimbo. So I want to say, as being the 3rd fight from the top, I mean, we could have some action here. Themba Gorimbo, HGH gut. Yeah, I can see that. He does have a weird build. It's a little bit funky. Let's see. Max Griffin is old as shit too, isn't he? Yeah, Max Griffin is 39, and he just beat Wells last year in February. So Wells hasn't fought in a minute. We'll see what he can do against Themba Gorimbo. Next up is the co-main event. This one's a little bit tricky. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ante. I've heard his name said 3 different ways. Delia, and Delija. It's like, which way is it? I'm not exactly sure. Anik didn't fucking cover this one. That's HGH gut because it grows your organs as well as your muscles. Oh, gotcha. He does have, it's like he has abs, but it looks like there's extra in there. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Oh, Zach Palga's fighting right now. DBX. Looks like he's doing fairly decent. He busted open his opponent. Yeah, don't get distracted. Distended. There you go. Where was I at? Oh yeah, Acosta versus Delija. Fuck, I don't know which way to say it now. I've heard it so many different ways. But Acosta's 7-2 in the UFC, 6-0 by KO TKO, 1-0 by sub, 7-2 by decision. He is coming off a loss. Delia, whatever it is. Delija. Oh shit, there's a 4th one. Okay. I haven't heard anybody say that one yet, but that could be it as well. He's 12-3 by KO TKO. Damn. 7-2 by sub, 7-1 by decision. He's 1-0 in the UFC. He is I don't know if you've heard all the stuff about Tom Aspinall's dad talking about Aspinall wanting to go to boxing, and then also talking about Delija, being his training partner and friend or whatever, saying that they would never fight him. And he looks like one of those guys that could do well in the heavyweight division of the UFC, especially coming in off of where he was before. Let me take a look. I don't remember exactly what he was fighting before. Oh, he was in the PFL. That's right. He did well in the PFL. He was a champion at one point in time. He beat Renan Fajeda, who was a champion. That's who he beat for the belt. He beat Maurice Green. And then his last fight was against Marcin Tybura, which is a pretty impressive win. 2 minutes and 3 seconds into the first round back in September. He got a performance of the night bonus on that one. He beat Jorgen De Castro in FNC as well. I still think Spivak beat Waldo. Yeah, I was about to talk about that too, because I think, yeah, that fight was a little bit that was a little bit weird. Let me take a look at change that first. We'll take a look at Acosta's. Oh, he lost to Sergey Pavlovich. That's right. I was getting confused because I'm like, wait, thought he lost to Spivak, but Sergey Pavlovich is who he lost in his last fight to by unanimous decision. But yeah, he had that close one with Spivak. A lot of people thought that Spivak won that fight, but they gave it to Acosta. That was back in June of this year. He also beat Ryan Spann. Damn, this will be his 4th fight this year. He won 2, lost 1, which was his last fight. He beat Ryan Spann and Sergey Spivak. He also beat Rubelas to Spain, which that wasn't tough considering the Spain did not do a whole lot when it came to him fighting in the UFC. That's why he's gone now, fighting in Karate Combat. I think he's not fighting this weekend, but I think he's had a couple fights in Karate Combat already, and he looks like a beast again there. So yeah, I mean, I feel like D'Elia I feel like he should be able to win this one, but Acosta's grappling and ground game is pretty good. Whether he gets you down there to try to submit you or gets you down there to ground and pound you. The Spain, man, one of the worst grapplers. Yeah, which is probably why Acosta was able to beat him. I feel like it wasn't that exciting of a fight, but Despain just, yeah, I don't know, man. Karate Combat is definitely the way to go for him. Something with just striking for sure is better for him, because yeah, his grappling is garbage. But with this one, if D'Elia can, I don't even know what to call him, but he's looking to get another big win here against Acosta and put Acosta down to a 2-fight losing streak. Mr. Salsa Boy Waldo Cortez Acosta. This is happening in the men's heavyweight division, obviously. But yeah, what I was saying about Aspinall is that he said he wouldn't fight him if he got worked his way up the rankings and stuff. Which, of course, the UFC doesn't like that kind of shit. We saw that with Aljamain Sterling and Merab, where Merab wasn't getting a title shot because Elja was there, and Elja kept saying that he wouldn't fight him. So it was good that Elja got out when he did. That gave Merab the opportunity to get the belt, which he did, and still holds it. So, and fighting for what, the 4th time this year to defend, which is crazy. In December he's fighting again, but the UFC doesn't like that, which is probably why Dana White's been so just fucking whatever about Aspinall and the eye poke and all that shit. Considering he's been talking about going to boxing and all that, it's like, that was kind of something stupid to say. Like, maybe you shouldn't say that kind of shit. Like, wait until Elijah gets a little closer to, possibly getting a title fight before talking about how you won't fight him. You just became the undisputed champion, and you're already talking about people you're not going to fight. Like, that's a little crazy. Dana definitely was not in his corner. No, not at all. And I think a lot of it has to do with these things that his dad is saying. They just don't like that shit, man. We've seen it multiple times with other people, and yeah, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens with all that, and we'll see if Elijah gets the win here and keeps winning, and we'll see how fast he can make it up to possibly getting a title shot, and see if Aspinall is still the champ there or not. But this should be a good one for the co-main event. Aspinall's dad is overshare sometimes. Yeah, just a little bit. I feel like Aspinall should be like, hey dad, how about don't talk about the things that we talk about in the back. That's just the kind of shit that gets you in trouble. And then, you know, for the eye poke thing to happen, that just makes it worse on top of the talk. Like if he came out and got a impressive win and just continues on, then he's undeniable. But when this kind of shit happens, it's like everyone already thinks that he's quitting, or because he was getting worked a little bit in that first round that he found a way out. But I think that's all kind of bullshit. I'm actually pretty sick and tired of hearing about that shit. It's like, let's just get the rematch, like get the rematch scheduled already, and let's fucking do it. I mean, I hope Aspinall's eye's good. It seemed like all the checkups, and he didn't seem too happy with the medical staff out there in Abu Dhabi, but you know, it seems like nothing is too seriously wrong with his eyes, but you never know. Only time will tell. It takes time for that kind of shit to heal, so hopefully he heals up. But you know, we're gonna see that rematch. I don't see why we wouldn't. It's just Jones Tards talking about how he quit. I mean, that's kind of true, Tyler, honestly. It gets annoying because it's like, how is the guy that got the foul happen to him be the one, especially when you have all the evidence against Gane, which I hate to point out because I think Gane's a good fighter. But yeah, I had forgotten a little bit about that. And I hate to give Jones the credit, but he did talk about it for a minute, about the fact that Gane has a lot of, on the lead up to their fight, that Gane has a lot of tendencies to do kind of some dirty shit. Hitting in the back of the head, grabbing the fence, eye pokes, low blows, all that kind of shit. So a lot of hitting in the back of the head though too. I mean, if you remember the way that he kind of started the finish of Tai Tuivasa, and during the finish he was like hammer fisting in the back of the head. It was crazy. But you know, accidents happen too. But I don't know, man, those eye pokes were pretty fucking bad. And that's what all the debates were about the, whether it's the gloves, whether it's the fighter, whether it's you know, refereeing not taking points like they should be, the rule sets, all that bullshit. It's like, come on, man. That's really been the talk of the week, especially because this card here is not great. Looked like the whole thumb went. It wasn't the thumb, it was the two fingers. But yeah, I mean, it was like knuckle deep. And it's weird because the eye that was bugging him wasn't the eye that looked like it got the worst of it, which, I mean, I guess that kind of shit happens, but it was nasty regardless. And yeah, we'll just see. We got to get past it, and that's the thing. But with this card not being great, it's gonna be tough. So I guess we'll see. We'll see when they schedule that rematch, because it's got to happen, especially with all the talk of how Aspinall was getting worked just because his nose got bloodied up, and you know, he wasn't able to get it done quickly like he usually does, or finish Gane faster than Jones did, all that bullshit. Like Tyler said though, it's just the Jones Tards talking about how he quit. But yeah, that's your co-main event in the heavyweight division, and that brings us to the main event. Steve Garcia versus David Onama. I feel like this one should be pretty damn good. I hope it doesn't disappoint. I hope we don't have any fouls that end the fight. None of that stupid shit. Like I said earlier, Steve Garcia is on a 6-fight win streak, but Onama's right behind him with a 4-fight win streak. Onama's never been stopped on the feet or on the ground. He's only lost by decision twice. He's 6-2 in the UFC. Steve Garcia is 7-2 in the UFC. 14 wins by KO TKO. He has lost once there. He's been stopped on the ground too and has no wins by submission, but 14 wins by KO TKO is pretty impressive. He's 4-3 in the decision column, as Onama's 3-2. Onama doesn't have as many KO TKO wins, but he's never been stopped on the feet, and he's got 4 submission wins, while Garcia has none and has been stopped there once. So, you know, that could be a possibility. But I mean, Garcia definitely likes to keep it on the feet. That's where he likes to fight, and he's usually pushing forward all the time. So we'll see what Onama has. We've seen Onama get submissions, and you know, he's kind of a lengthy dude as well. He's got some reach, so that's going to help him out on the ground. and we'll see if that can help him in the striking department with Garcia being a bit smaller. Let me see. Garcia is he's got he's 6 foot. He's got 75-inch reach, and Onama is 5'11", but he has a 74-inch reach. Okay, why did I think Onama was bigger? Bloody nose equals 10-7 for Garcia's a KO machine. Cater just has an insane chin. Yeah, no doubt. Cater's hard to get hard to finish, especially with taking all those punches from Max Holloway too, which is crazy. But that was Garcia's last win, was Kelvin Cater by decision. Before that, he had 2 performance of the night bonuses over Kyle Nelson with a TKO win in the first round, and then Sung-Woo Choi with a TKO win in the first round as well. He beat Melquizael Costa, Shaylin Nerdenbecky, and Chase Hooper, where he got a performance of the night bonus there as well. How do both of these guys have longer reaches than Cortez Acosta? Really? What did his say? We had what, 16 or 75 and 74. Acosta says 78 for the reach. So I'm not sure where you were looking at that at, but Acosta's 6'4" with a 78-inch reach. Garcia's 6 foot with a 75-inch reach, and Onama's 5'11" with a 74-inch reach. At least according to Tapology. So, I thought the UFC website said 70. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look at the UFC website. I usually just get shit from Tapology because they have all of it there. But they all get it wrong, honestly, which is why I don't solely count on the UFC website, because, while they should have the most current shit, it's like sometimes I feel like Tapology has a little better, but Tapology also has a breakdown of who they fought before and what, stuff like that. So I kind of rely on that a little more. But looking at Garcia, he fought Kelvin Cater in that last fight. 6-fight win streak, man. Kyle Nelson, Sung-Woo Choi, Melquizael Costa. Oh yeah, I already said this. And Chase Hooper. His last loss was to Mahashate by TKO in the first round, but that was back in June of 22. So hasn't lost since 2022. And like Tyler said, he's a KO machine. So what the fuck is happening? Oh, okay. DBX is, I keep getting distracted. Anyway, yeah, I feel like this should be a pretty good fight, honestly. With Onama, his 4 wins were over Giga Chikadze, Roberto Romero, Jonathan Pierce, and Gabriel Santos. I feel like Garcia's fought more of the higher level of competition. Trains out of Jackson Wink MMA also. Garcia? I think you're right on that one. But yeah, I think Garcia's had the tougher opponents. I mean, Giga Chikadze is pretty tough for Onama, but other than him, which was his last fight, he won by decision. Other than him, he hasn't really had too many high-level opponents. He's actually won 3 out of 4 of his 4-fight win streak have been by decision. His last 3. His first win in that streak was a TKO win in the second round where he got a performance of the night bonus. He lost to Nate Landwehr, but he was beating Landwehr in the beginning. But Landwehr was like, hey, if you're on the tracks, the train's going to come rolling through. And that happened. Nate the Train decided he got hit enough and fucking took over and got the majority decision win over Onama. So, and they got the fight of the night bonus on that one. That was a fun one, if I remember correctly. I think Steve is pretty much a lock, but we'll see. I feel like that too, but yeah, Onama, it has a lot to do with the opponents of both these guys. Like I said, I feel like Garcia's fought higher level of opponents, and I just think that he's just got that pressure, and his striking is so good that he could definitely take advantage of Onama. and this motherfucker just wound up and threw an uppercut. Like, he straight did the whole wind up and landed an uppercut. But yeah, Onama's on a 4-fight win streak regardless. So they're both looking to extend some win streaks, and they're both looking to get a big win here in their main event. I don't know that Steve Garcia has been in a main event before. I know Onama has not. So let me see. I'm kind of curious about that. And the Chikadze versus Onama fight was kind of stinky, if I remember right. Yeah, I don't fully remember that fight. Onama is one of those guys that I remember. I've seen no, this is the first main event for both. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about Garcia. I knew Onama had never been in a main event. But I remember the submission in that left-hand picture there against Armfield. But I didn't remember the Chikadze fight as much. I think Chikadze hadn't fought in a while before he fought Onama. But yeah, I mean, it was a unanimous decision win. Chikadze, it had only been like a year. Chikadze's on a 2-fight losing streak, and he's only been fighting like once a year for a while now, which is weird. Anyway, that's your main event. Let's take care of the fight wheel predictions real quick, and then we'll talk about DBX and Karate Combat for a minute, and we'll get the hell out of here. So I did the fight wheel right before the pay-per-view, because I didn't do it while I was on with Mike from Mike Talks, because we had already run it about 2 hours. So I think Chikadze was beating him a lot on the feet, and Onama controlled him on the ground and won a 50-50 decision, I believe. Okay. Yeah, I don't fully remember that fight. That was in April too. Shit, that feels like a fucking year ago. So anyway, I don't think the fight wheel did very well. I did mix it up a little bit because I was trying to do it on the fly and quickly before the main card started for the pay-per-view. I think it only got one right, if I remember right. I forgot to even leave it up here to check. So anyway, let's take a look at the fight wheel this week. We'll actually get it done and see what the fight wheel predicts and how it does. Let me get all this ready. All right, let's spin the wheel. A lot of fights on this main card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights on the main card, and we start with Isaac Dulgarian getting the win over Delville for your first fight wheel prediction. Let me write that down. Isaac Dulgarian to beat Yadir Delville, who's undefeated, I think, if I remember right from what we just talked about. So that should be an interesting first pick. Next up for the fight wheel predictions, we got Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke. I spelled Daniel Frunza wrong. Chuck Buffalo to beat Daniel Frunza according to the fight wheel. So we'll remove that name and the name I misspelled. 2 down, 4 to go. Let's see what else the fight wheel predictions have for us for UFC Vegas 110. Jeremiah Wells to beat Themba Garimbo. That's interesting. Halfway through for the fight wheel predictions. Let's see what we get next. There's definitely a lot of action in DBX, that's for sure. Alan Nascimento for the first fight of the night to beat Cody Durden, the late replacement. I hate it when they're long names. Nascimento to beat Durden in that first fight of the night, according to the fight wheel for the predictions. 2 more fights left, the main event and the co-main event. Weird how that wound up working out. So the co-main event is up first. Waldo Cortez Acosta to beat Ante Delija, I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see. I feel like Delija's probably gonna get a TKO KO win. All right, let's see what it has for the main event. Steve Garcia, which sounds like the proper pick, honestly. Steve Garcia to get the win over David Onama. All right, so those are your fight wheel predictions for UFC Vegas 110. Dolgarian to beat Delville, Radke to beat Frunza, Wells to beat Garimbo, Nascimento to beat Durden, Acosta to beat Delija, and Garcia to beat Onama. Yeah, they're not too bad. I don't really agree with Acosta versus Delija, but otherwise, all of it sounds okay. So we'll see how that does. We'll recap that for the recap on Sunday. So come back for that. Before we get done here, let's talk about this fight that's happening right now. We got DBX4 happening right now live on YouTube, which is cool about DBX because you don't got to look very far to be able to find it, which is weird because I saw people streaming it on TikTok. I was like, what the hell? It's free on YouTube. Why the hell do you guys have it on TikTok? But I get it. They're trying to get views or whatever. So the biggest thing here is the Gable Steveson coming in to fight DBX. He fought in LFA for his first MMA fight, and he won by TKO in the first round. So that was a good win for him. I looked it up on YT and someone else was streaming it on YT. That's weird. I don't understand it. Yeah, Infinity, people stream fights all the time. It takes a while before they get caught. There's tricks to not getting caught that I see everybody doing. But when it's a free fight, it's even, I'm sure they're less, they're a little more lenient on those as opposed to like the pay-per-views and shit. But yeah, DBX4. We are coming up to, let's see, which fight is that? Oh shit, we're on the third to the last fight. That is the fight that's about to go down here. Yeah, but YouTube. Oh, on YouTube. I thought you were talking about TikTok. Yeah, that's fucking strange. Let's see. They don't have it updated. Let me refresh. See if they. Oh, there we go. So Gabe Uriah won by TKO against Akeem Bashir in the second round for the first fight of the night. Desiree Yanez beats Maria Agapova, who fought in the UFC before, by split decision. James Cannon beats Zane Burton. Oh, that was a fun fight. Cannon was fucking throwing like goddamn Rock'em Sock'em robots. He was like nonstop, like the button got stuck on your controller. That's the way he was fucking fighting. It was crazy. But he didn't get the finish. He gets unanimous decision win against Zane Burton. That's how fast these fights go in DBX. They do 3-minute rounds, so I guess that helps too. But it's like all action, man. It's crazy. Andrew Stewart gets the win by unanimous decision over Ivanildo Metendorf. Yeah, a lot of decisions so far, though. But I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of action in these fights. Andrew Stewart gets unanimous decision win there, and then we got Ben Parrish versus Braxton Smith. That was a weird fight. I was watching that one. My illegal stream went out once, and I watched the whole pay-per-view on someone's TV on TikTok. That's usually how I get some of the fights I don't want to pay for, like other than UFC. You can almost always find it. But Ben Parrish versus Braxton Smith was a weird one. Parrish looks like a dude that might have used to weigh like 400 pounds and lost enough weight to make the heavyweight division, because he's got a lot of crazy loose skin. But he can hit, man. He can hit hard for sure. It looked like he might have poked Braxton Smith in the eye at one point in time, because he knocked him down. And maybe it came from a punch. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying full attention. But Ben Parrish, just every time the ref would stop it, because in DBX, you can ground and pound. But if it doesn't look like things are progressing, they'll stop it and let the opponent up. So, they stop them. And Ben Parrish, every time he got stopped to let the opponent up, you know, he kept acting like he was winning. Like he would just put his arms up like he just won. And then Dan Miragliotta was like, no, it's not over. But he did it every single time. And, you know, it kept happening. So it's weird. But Parrish gets the win by a TKO in the at the end of the first round. Braxton Smith couldn't come out after that first round, probably due to his eye and shit. It was at the end of the first round that he went down again. Like, he got knocked down a few times. So Ben Parrish gets the win and then was doing some weird shit afterwards. I don't know. He's kind of a weird guy. He was kind of annoying. Then we had Jaleel Willis versus Peter Stanonik. Willis gets the TKO win in the second round by an uppercut. And then the fight that just happened, Kevin Faleem versus Travis St. John. Kavim Felipe gets a TKO win 38 seconds into the first round, which was a banger. And then we got, oh, that wasn't the last one. What am I talking about? There's two more after that. They just haven't updated it. Shit, we had Michael Garcia versus Levi DaCosta. I'm not sure what happened there. I wasn't paying attention. Alexander Shank versus Montavious Ware. But now we're up to, right now, the fight that's about to happen. They're just walking into the ring right now is Francisco Trinaldo, former UFC fighter. He's old as shit too. I think he's 47, which is insane for fighting. Trinaldo is fighting right now at 47 years old versus Nyanesh Ayman, who is, they don't even have an age in there. That's crazy. Anyway, they're fighting in the 170 division right now. But after this fight, we got the co-main event, which is Brian Battle, former UFC fighter, versus Nick Korig. That's your co-main event for that one. And then the main event will be Gable Steveson versus Billy Swanson. And, you know, Gable Steveson he was a collegiate champion, all kinds of championships happening in college. I think he won multiple gold medals in the Olympics. He was in SummerSlam in the WWE. He signed to the Buffalo Bills and went to, I think he was only in like some training camp, or I don't know if he actually played any full games, any official games for the Buffalo Bills, but he was signed with them for a minute. And then he moved on to MMA and won his first MMA fight in LFA by TKO in the first round. And now he's making his debut in Dirty Boxing. He is kind of a John Jones. I guess he's done a lot with John Jones and is somewhat of a protege of John Jones just because he's trained with him and stuff. But John Jones is definitely like a proud dad when he watches him fight. So we'll see how his first fight in DBX goes. Should be a good one. I'll definitely be watching that. Gable 100% locked in on MMA. Steveson makes his DBX debut. Yeah, I didn't understand that either because, you know, he fights the one fight with LFA and he gets the win. But then, you know, all of a sudden he's fighting in DBX. But yeah, maybe he's just trying to get the experience. But, you know, he comes over to DBX for his first fight and he gets the fucking main event, which is crazy, over Brian Battle, of all people, who looked good in his first DBX fight. I believe he got a finish in his first fight in DBX. Yeah, 56 seconds into the first round, he got a TKO win back in August, which was yeah, right after he got released from the UFC for missing weight. So we'll see how they do in this fight card. And then that brings us to Karate Combat 57. This one's happening tomorrow on Halloween, by the way. I forgot that tomorrow's Halloween. That's what happens when you don't have little kids. I mean, I went to a Halloween party this past weekend. I dressed up as an old man because it wasn't too far of a stretch. My wife wanted to be, I don't know, my wife had this thing, so I did it with her. But yeah. Anyway, Karate Combat 57. Monica Chochikova versus Janina Silva is your first fight of the night in the women's division. Oh yeah, she's at that age, huh? Where she's doesn't want to be around. She like wants to be with her friends and shit. Which I remember that age. But yeah, I'm not even gonna probably be home to hand out candy at this point because it's happening on a Friday. We're usually out until about 8 or 9 o'clock on Friday nights. So unless we get into some other crazy shit and wind up at a bar or something. But I'm going to play golf on Saturday, so I might not be out too long on Friday. Anyway, Karate Combat. There's not a whole lot of big names on here that I know. But Karate Combat's a fun one to watch if you know. Oh shit, I said Zach Pauga and DBX, but that wasn't him. That dude really looked like him. I was confused. Zach Pauga's fighting in he fought in DBX before. He's actually fighting in Karate Combat tomorrow. So I don't know who that dude was that I was seeing in the cage, but that motherfucker looked just like him. Francisco Trinaldo right now is fucking going at it with this Iman dude who's more than likely younger than Trinaldo, who's 47 years old, fighting in DBX, which is insane. But he did get a win in DBX before a couple months ago, I believe. This is the first time that DBX has gotten out of Miami too, by the way. They're fighting in Nashville. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted by that. Zach Pauga is fighting in Karate Combat. He fought in the UFC before. He fought in DBX. So now he's fighting in Karate Combat, which I think he was a part of. Yeah, he was a part of that tournament that he lost to Daniel James. 47 in DBX. Yeah. Yeah, True Infinity. That's how it works, man. I remember those days. But yeah, Pauga's fighting in Karate Combat again, even though he lost in that tournament they did. Luis Rocha versus Shakru Kalmadurov. Go ahead with your kids and family. Oh yeah, go hang with your kids and family at 47. Pretty much, but this motherfucker is still fighting. He looks like he's in damn good shape too, which is crazy. Christian Flores Garcia, what's up, man? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a minute. I don't think I saw you in the watch party this past weekend either. But it was a daytime one, so that makes things a little different for some people. Damir Ismagulov versus Tyler Hill is also happening in Karate Combat. And then we got Luis Pena versus Rafael Alves. Pena is that violent Bob Ross. Trend does crazy things even after. Yeah, I guess so. Violent Bob Ross fighting in Karate Combat 57. I'm not sure that he's fought there before. Let me take a look. No, he fought in a kickboxing event in his last fight. Trinaldo just dropped his opponent and now he's ground and pounding him. But he's on his knee. You can't do that. They stood him up. Damir Usmagalov is in Karate Combat now. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. He's coming from Hellish Pride. What the hell is that? He was in the UFC though back in 2023, but he had 2 losses in a row and got cut, I guess. But yeah, now he's fighting in Karate Combat. Oh, and then we got Uriah Hall, also former UFC fighter, fighting Marcus Perez. He's making his Karate Combat debut, I believe. Yeah, I don't think he boxed in his last couple fights for MVP, where he beat Le'Veon Bell and then lost to Julio Cesar Chavez in his last fight in that Paul versus Perry card. And then your main event is Iyas Kamzen versus Adrian Weathersby. I don't know who the fuck any of those are, but anyway, Karate Combat's a fun one to watch. They do like Kumite style, fucking in a pit, which is crazy. They can lean against the angled walls and shit. It's a unique event for sure. But I do like watching it. So Karate Combat 57 happening tomorrow. I remember when people thought Ismagulov and Guram Kutateladze were the future of the UFC because they had a technical looking fight and they're from that part of the world. Oh yeah, I remember Usmagulov especially. What channel is Karate Combat on? I believe they're on YouTube as well. Yeah, live and free on YouTube. So that's what's pretty cool about both these events, man. You get to watch them free on YouTube. So It's pretty dope. So right now we got DBX4 going on. And you can go watch that main event coming up, or the co-main and main event right after I'm done here, because Trinaldo is still fighting Amen. They're in the second round, and I'll be done here. So you can afford that. Exactly. Yeah, that wraps it up though for me. And I appreciate you guys coming in and joining in as usual. Tyler, Christian, DJ Infinity, appreciate you guys. My wife and my mom were in here for a minute too. Pineda's sister's a champ in karate combat. I believe so. Yes, she is. I know that they were talking about trying to get her over to the UFC, but I believe right now she's still in karate combat. So, and she's been knocking motherfuckers out too. So she's got that crazy left hook like her brother does. So, but yeah, that's it for me. You know, you got some combat to watch this weekend. DBX, go watch that co-main and main event right after I'm out of here right now, and then you can watch karate combat tomorrow, and then watch the UFC on Saturday. So a nice few days of some good combat sports. Take advantage of all of it, especially these free ones on YouTube. Don't miss the ones on Saturday on ESPN Plus, and come back on Sunday for the recap, where I'll be back. And then keep an eye out for those shorts I've been posting and stuff like that. And make sure you hit the like button on all those, as well as this video here. You know, do it while you're here now, or do it after. It doesn't matter to me. Either which way, come back next week. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like Watch Party on Saturday. Not this Saturday, man. I did it last Saturday for the pay-per-view, and then we'll do the next one on the 15th for 322. So be on the lookout for that. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.